All right, my friends, I've got a word of warning for you. Please prepare now. Get yourself some good notes for basically what's happening next. It's what it's looking like for Medicare. And there's some major compliance changes that are kind of ramping up. You need to be ready for this. This is some proposed rulings that look like it could go into effect for 2024. You need to be in tune with what's taking place in this industry. Don't put your head in the sand. I put a lot of content out last year telling you about call recording compliance, and a lot of IMOs and FMOs that play in this industry didn't even warn their agents about this. So I'm going to go into some things that are looking like they're shaping up into taking place. CMS is working on rulings. Not great. So grab pen and paper if you don't have them. And I appreciate you joining with me today. My name is Jason. I'm your friend in the business. I do run a national insurance agency here at jasonfinalexpense.com, partnering with just powerful life and Medicare and annuity agents, selling face-to-face and yes, in the telespace. But what's taking place here is that basically the sales calls had to be recorded. That was a 2023 thing, but you got to be really careful with what they're looking at shaping up into scopes, my friends. Scopes of appointments are something that was around many, many years ago. And it's a 48-hour scope of appointment time frame, prohibiting you from really doing anything until that kind of cool down period has happened. So a scope of appointment, they're trying to reinstate. They're talking about the biggest change for 2024, reinstating a 48-hour, my friend, time frame where you can't make appointments, you can't do squat, you can't do marketing. This is nuts, all right? They have to complete an SOA, scope of appointment, all right? So this is a really big pain point. And oh, by the way, the scope of appointment, the proposed ruling, they're talking about making that scope of appointment only valid for a time period of just 6 months. That's it. All right. So this is going to be like going back into the dark ages of Medicare Advantage sales, Part D sales. These 2024 potential CMS changes that they're talking about, a SOA rule, the scope of appointment is going to slow your roll, my friends. It's going to slow your roll. It's going to go back into archaic times of selling Medicare Advantage in Part D. You got to be ready. CMS is talking about it's only going to be a 6-month scope of appointment, and it's got to be done 48 hours in advance, period. And it's only good for a 6-month period. That's nuts. All right. Also, they're talking about permission to contact rulings, where the SOA, where it gives you permission to contact that great Medicare beneficiary or Medicaid beneficiary. It's only going to be valid for 6 months from when they put ink on paper. That's it. 6 months. That doesn't sound real great, right? You've already got call recording compliance. You've got a HIPAA compliantly archived all calls with Medicare beneficiaries right now for a period of, my goodness, 10 years. That's already something that's been in place and been some great workarounds. There's some good recording software. So that's not a big hurdle. But the SOAs, the scope of appointments, yikes, my friends, that's going to major problems for you. They're talking about changing educational events. So mark my words, this is a big deal. Number 2, educational event restrictions. All right. They're going to go much stricter guidelines is what they're talking about returning to. So for some of you face-to-face insurance agents that are like, hey, I do lots of educational events. Yay, this is great. I don't have to pay for leads. Well, pay attention to this. No longer will you be able to, at educational events, all right, be able to collect SOAs, scope of appointments. You can't even get beneficiary contact info at educational events. Oh my word. You can't schedule future marketing appointments at educational events. So this is going to slow your roll bad. This is like ridiculous. All right. And you can't do a marketing event within 12 plus hours of an educational event in the same location. Yikes. And same location isn't like, oh, this room over here, we're going to go to this room over here to get around it. No. It's they define the same location as the entire building or adjacent buildings. My friends, this is a big deal. For those of you face-to-face insurance agents that are doing a lot of educational events and you're getting the contact information and now it's a lead, right, to help you take care of these great people, they're looking like they're going to change this. Much stricter guidelines. This is going to take your profitability and make it so much harder. The business is already getting more expensive. The lead costs are rising. The regulation is just ramping up, which is why there's a lot of Medicare Advantage agency owners in places that do Part D. They're looking at selling out. I've seen a couple of these taking place recently. A lot of talks going on for a lot of these big Medicare Advantage IMOs. They're looking at selling off for multiples because they're like, Medicare's a mess right now. When they're making it so much harder, going stricter guidelines, No longer can you collect SOAs. Are you kidding me? You can't even collect beneficiary contact info at an educational event. Ridiculous, in my opinion. Don't have to ever mess with this in the final expense market, which is why so many people are diving into the final expense space, because this is not fun. They're even changing, looks like cash equivalent guidelines is what they're talking about too, meaning that if you do like a big store, like a big retailer, right? Like a big gift card, like a raffle, they're going to consider that a cash equivalent. Yeah, that's fun, right? So these guidelines that they're changing, educational event restrictions, that's really going to put a hurt on you when you're trying to make money. They're going to be changing a lot of different things. You need to be preparing now. Prepare now, my friends. Get yourself ready. It's not going to get easier selling Medicare Advantage. You've already got call recording compliance, increased lead costs, which is hurting a lot of agents' returns on their investments. You got to do stuff the right way. You've got to get stuff out of your mouth quickly. A lot of IMOs are repositioning to final expense, life insurance, or annuity sales. And if that's something that you need help with, my goodness, reach out. But to have a 48-hour scope of appointment ruling, going back into the dark ages of Medicare, I've been there, done that. All right. Got the t-shirt. I've sold Medicare Advantage back when there was the scope of appointment and a good old fun. A 48-hour rule, that is not a lot of fun. This is not sounding like a great time for you in Medicare Advantage sales. So yes, these are some major changes that they're looking at putting into place. CMS is not playing around. Reinstating a 48-hour, prohibiting marketing appointments, yikes, until after 48 hours has happened. If you do an educational event, you can't even do it in the same building for a period of time. You can't collect the information. And by the way, the permission to contact is now only a 6-month ruling. These are some major changes, regardless of compliance, regardless of getting stuff out of your mouth in so many seconds. My friends, this is going to hurt you if you're thinking that Medicare Advantage sales got easier. Nope, actually, it's looking like it's the opposite. You don't want to play. Medicare ain't playing. Make sure you're pushing the record button. Make sure you're doing things right when you're dealing with Medicare Advantage and Part D sales. So I wanted to be deliberate in giving you some of this content today. Hope this helps you, keeps you safe. You need to look at maybe repositioning into a more powerful line of business that doesn't have all these hurdles. Love to help you or even have a conversation with you if you'd like anything at all. JasonFinalExpense.com. I promise I will personally connect with you to help you hopefully find wealth and some happiness in a career field that doesn't have all these caustic problems with call recording compliance, with increased lead cost, with IMOs selling out, because this stuff with scopes and all this stuff is not sounding like a great time. People that did educational events are going, oof, all right, losing their lunch. It's just, this isn't good. What's taking place in the Medicare field right now. It's not finding even some of the IMOs to have a good taste in their mouth. They know what's happening. Writing's on the wall. I've called this for quite a few years now, but just be careful. If you're in the Medicare field, be careful. Look at repositioning is my advice to you. Get into annuity sales, life sales, where the lead cost is so much lower so that you can capitalize and stick and stay in this industry. These retirees need you. They really do need you. So please stay in the industry. Don't let this dissuade you from selling insurance, but Medicare Advantage sales is a mess. These compliance changes that looking like spooling up for 2024, it is way more regulated, not only in your communication, in your marketing, in your educational events. It's just a big pile of you know what. And a lot of people thought I was Chicken Little last year when I said, hey, be careful. This is coming. This is coming for you. And then guess what? It was found to be true. So look at my older content. You'll see it. I appreciate you today. Hope this helps you. Sorry, it's a little bit of a bummer on the news, but I need to help you be aware of some regulatory changes that it looking like is shaping to come into place in full force for 2024. And then there's another bombshell that's happening with Medicare and CMS that I will release at a later date. There's some inside baseball on what's happening that you're going to want to know about. So appreciate you subscribing. Hope you like this content. Share it with a buddy. Hope it keeps you safe. But yes, my friends, start selling now. If you're in Medicare Advantage sales, go get it done before the scopes come. It's not going to get better. Looks like it's getting worse. Hope you make the wealth. Stick and stay in this industry, my friends. You've got what it takes. Appreciate you. Hope you enjoy this content. We'll see you soon.